Women's Day, right? But why should we celebrate women? Now, there's a quote, and I'm going to borrow that. It says, "A woman in all her form, in any form, must be celebrated and honored, be it a sister, be it a wife, be it a mother." So today we honor and celebrate all the women in your life. So what I would want you to do is think about that one woman in your life who has left a lasting impression on you and at least given you the wisdom to come out on this stormy night and celebrate International Women's Day. And let's hear it for all the women in our lives. And we are going to celebrate not just the women in our lives, we are going to celebrate the divine feminine energy that resides in all of us. And that includes the men who gave up their seats. So you are also included in this celebration. Well, welcome to the Women's Leadership Conference that has been organized by the Consulate General of India in association with the Federation of India Associations Tri-State Area. This day we celebrate the International Women's Day to celebrate all the women in our lives and globally who have left a lasting impression in the forward development of our society.
Today, when we are celebrating the International Women's Day, I pay my tribute to women all over for the courage, hard work, and daily toil in making the world a better place. While women constitute half of humanity, they are responsible for bringing the other half up. I always like to crack a joke in the beginning of my lecture. I think that helps in settling the mood. So today I heard a joke where a little boy is asking the mother, "Mother, how is it that you have solutions to all my problems?" So mother said, when just before we become mother, God, puts us through a test. And I have cleared that test. So the boy says, "Oh, okay, so you've cleared the test. And those who fail the test become daddies."
And I would also request Consulate General's wife, Mrs. Taruna Chakraborty, to please come on stage for the lighting ceremony. And please join them with a round of applause as they go ahead and officially start the celebration of International Women's Day.
When I first landed at JFK 52 years ago, from JFK to Hoboken at Stevens Institute of Technology, we were in infancy stage of student visa, had no knowledge of United States of America. And there was a movement going on at that time was ERA, Equal Right Amendment. Women were asking for 50-50 rights. But then 38 US states have to ratify that constitutional amendment. It didn't go through, only 28 states approved, but didn't go through. Now look at the progress today. I'm talking about from 65 onward, today the woman became Nari Shakti.
We are also delighted to have with us 8 pilots from Air India who have flown into JFK. Where are they? Oh, there they are. So I believe that all the Air India flights to the United States today have been commanded by women pilots to New York, to JFK.
A great day, every day is great, especially when you recognize the power of women. And from that point of view, Consul General Sahab, smile and tell me how you feel in the presence of all these wonderful women here.
I think I'm feeling very powerful, I'm feeling empowered. And I think the message that our speakers gave and the presence of such incredible women is that all of us have to step up to the plate and change the way we deal with women. And that is the only way we'll change our country.
Wonderful. And as I change the mic towards her, in your presence, help me recollect, it is for the first time that I'm standing with 8 Air India women pilots. So we are almost flying together, is it?
Yes, it is an incredible moment, and I would like to thank Vandana ji, another woman who is the country head of Air India, for I think somehow manipulating perhaps, but managing to make sure that all the flights coming into the United States on the International Women's Day are commanded by women pilots. And I think we are really grateful that we have the presence of such amazing women in our consulate today. I think our consulate is blessed by the presence of such incredible and powerful women today in the International Day of Women.
Thank you very
I
much.
feel very proud, very humbled, and I would like to say that Air India is an equal opportunity employer. And because Air India is an equal opportunity employer and doesn't distinguish between men, women, caste, creed, nothing. So anyone who has potential has the ability to rise in the organization, and that is why Air India is blessed today to have the highest number of pilots who are women in the world.
And I feel the kind of work that I have, that gives me the opportunity of being in the presence of all of you, it is incredible. And somewhere we all, as a child, have fascination for flying. Were you also fascinated and you wanted to become a pilot, and how was it?
I didn't start with flying as a childhood passion. I wanted to be a sportswoman. I wanted to be PT Usha. But flying is a bug. ये एक जुनून है. Once it bites you, you don't look back. And Air India has given us a platform of equal opportunity or rising as high as I want to be.
Well, in my case, it was a childhood dream. So, since I was a child, I was really fascinated by the idea of flying an aeroplane. So, luckily, eventually things worked out in that direction, and because of my family's support, and eventually got the opportunity to join Air India, so I could fulfill my dream.
And as we always say, gender equality. From that point of view, being a pilot, do you see that it acts as inspiration for some young girls around you?
Yeah, that's what I've seen. I come from Jaipur, which is in Rajasthan, a small town.
I come from Jaipur too.
Oh, great. Nice to know that. So, yeah, I do see, girls who, around, and not exactly in family, but known people and all. So, they do get inspired, and they want to kind of explore if this can be a career for them. Yes, so it's nice if I can inspire them.
Jai Hind and Happy International Women's Day to you. And please move forward. What is your name?
I'm Captain Sunita Narula.
Captain Sunita, such a pleasure having you here with us. And how do you feel overall International Women's Day, the way it was celebrated here?
I think I'm honored that I'm a part of this wonderful event. In fact, I had never expected that today evening I'm going to have such a wonderful time. I not only heard to the very motivational lectures, but the music and everything all together, the way it was arranged, I think it couldn't have been better.
Tell me, you are very perceptive, and when someone who is joining you in the same sort of responsibility as women pilot, what is the first advice that you give to them?
I will just tell everybody that believe in yourself. You should have this feeling you can do it. And second thing, there is no alternate to hard work. You have to hard work, you have to be dedicated, you have to be passionate about whatever you are doing, then nobody can stop you.
Shilpika, flying is such a challenging thing, and when you are sitting, I have never been inside the cockpit. How is it when you first, from the runway, started flying? How was that feeling?
My first day was like my instructor. I did my flying in Arizona, United States, and my instructor was really nice. And first day itself, he said that you just don't worry. I was really excited about flying, and I wanted to fly the aircraft. So he was like, keep your excitement inside, and just you have to do it. So I said, okay, fine. So I just sat on the seat, and we pushed the throttle, we gave the power, and it just started flying, and that was really fun. And I enjoyed it from the first day.
When she recollects it, you can see it in her eyes, the excitement of that particular moment. Please move forward. What's your name?
I'm Jyotsna Arora.
Jyotsna, what made you decide to become a pilot?
See, I come from a very small town, okay? It's a
Which town?
Faizabad in UP. And from a family we are a Marwadi family, okay? We don't see this kind of thing, and I used to always feel that something I have to do different, where I get my freedom. There was a flying club, and I used to think, what can I do, Then after 10th, I came to know that I can be a pilot with just, 10+2 with PCM, physics, chemistry, maths, and I felt I was very happy when I chose this career, and I'm very happy here right now. First of all, I want to thank you, all of you, how you have, honored everything. I'm very happy.
Vandana ji, tell me, how is it for you flying now from the day when you started? What is the difference now?
Now I am more experienced. When I joined, I was like a young girl. So now I have a more experience. I know so many things. So that's the difference. This profession is very secure. So we don't feel we don't have any security concerns. So I don't feel anything.
And anything from your experience that you may want to say to a young girl who wants to become a pilot?
Yes, I will say that who wants to become a pilot, they should be confident, and they should pursue their dream, and they should work for that.
Captain Reshma, when I hear the word Captain Reshma, it makes me feel good that a girl from India has moved away from the imposed, assumed boundaries that one cannot do this. Were you any time prevented from realizing your dreams?
I come from a family where we are like 5 daughters. So my parents had amazing responsibility taking care of us. And I was like the 5th one. And aviation, flying was definitely an expensive career to pursue. I did have obstacles as to the expenses, but I had my parents who gave me the support, and because of which I am here.
And how is the sense of inner joy or satisfaction as you come all the way up to America?
Flying is my passion, which has turned into my career, and being able to travel everywhere is the best thing that anybody can have. So being here is it's like joyful.
Makes you feel?
It's very exciting. I find it very thrilling. Taking off, landing. It's been the best thing I've ever done.
And overall, the working conditions that you have and your surroundings?
The working conditions are very professional. People are very supportive. The fellow women pilots are also very supportive. There's so many cabin crews, so it's a very positive environment.
Incredible. I think you are very inspiring to all of us. As far as pilots are concerned, I think India has a good track record. I believe 1/8 of our pilots are women, and the world average is 1/20. So at least somewhere we are doing right. I now have this wonderful and rather delightful responsibility of introducing our panelists today. Nisha Mathur is a major icon in the Indian American community. She is also a co-anchor of the Asian variety show. Her newest venture has taken one step further into the realm of women's empowerment. She is the host of an exclusive series on TV Asia titled Shades of Shakti, which highlights and celebrates real stories of strong South Asian women from all aspects of life who overcame struggle. She will speak this evening on women in art and culture. Nisha ji, please come on.
Over the years and through my work, I've had a chance to really reflect on what women's empowerment means to me. And it's not just about the big things, like voting, being in politics, having your own business. It's also about the small but really, really important things, like having a say in your household, choosing who you want to marry, or even marrying at all. What may seem like very ordinary things to all of us were and still are a dream to millions of women all around the world. So how does humanity change its mind? Obviously, people don't just wake up one fine day and decide to give certain freedom and certain rights to women. It happens because of the fight and the struggle of brave women who refuse to be what society wants them to be.
We have Myra Godfrey, an internationally acclaimed author, motivational speaker, and natural lifestyle expert teaching people how to cultivate excellent physical, mental, and emotional health based on their personal energy and composition type. Myra works to educate others how to find the best natural approaches to healthy living and shows people how to create the life of their dreams based on the unique composition type. Her work on mindful and motivational leadership helps bring people together in the workplace while encouraging each person's unique talents and strengths.
Ever since I was a young child, I wanted to be able to heal the world and to make a difference. So I got my education, I became a molecular biologist, and I worked in research for many years, both in academia and in the pharmaceutical industry, doing cancer and immunobiology research. I thought maybe I'd be one of those people who discovered a cure for cancer or AIDS. But God had a little bit of a different plan for me. About 11 or 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with absolutely debilitating fibromyalgia. And when I say debilitating, I lost everything in my life. I lost my marriage, my home was foreclosed on, I had to declare bankruptcy, and I was even separated from my children because I had absolutely nowhere to go and no family remaining alive. I ended up having to live with a friend for a while because that was the only thing that was available to me. But I was determined to not stay sick. And to make matters worse, nothing that Western medicine tried helped. So this was like a slap in the face to my scientific education. So I decided to start applying the things I was learning through my spiritual practice and from my guru directly to my own life. And I was able to heal myself completely naturally, 100%. So now I'm an internationally published author. Thank you.
My name is Anindita Nanda. I started learning since I was 3 or 4 years old, so I have never stopped looking back. I'm a scientist by profession. I do research in cancer and Alzheimer's, but this has been my passion. Like, dance is what gives me meaning in my life, so it's been my life.
I'm so proud of you. You're taking care of your research work as well as your passion for dance. Now, when we talk about men dancing and women dancing, where do you see women have, call it advantage or better equipped?
I don't think it is gender specific, to be honest, because all my teachers my entire life were male dancers. So it is not uncommon either way. I think where it comes from is the natural energy. So we feel like men sing better and women dance better. But in this day and age, I don't think it's true anymore. We see as many male dancers as female dancers. So it's equally, I think it's Ardhanarishwara. You need both energies.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Shri Sani. On this Women's International Day, I'm actually celebrating with everyone here, with Consulate General of India and many other FIA ambassadors. And yesterday I was actually with Manushi Chiller, who is Miss World, so I celebrated Women's Day with her as well. And recently I got this award for my nonprofit that I have, which one can look up on my website, shrisani.org. And my nonprofit talks about heart health, because I have a pacemaker, but it also talks about the emotional well-being of a patient when they go through such a big adversity, on how it's not always physical. When you're emotionally empowered and you feel capable enough of overcoming any obstacle, then only then can you go through life's challenges.
It is a real honor for Federation of Indian Association to partner with Consulate on this amazing event. It is a dream come true. I've always been surrounded by powerful women, my mom, my wife, my daughter, and my real friend.
Ishita Chakravarti, she is not related to me, by the way, is a global advocate for the civil rights of women and children. She represents women of diverse cultures and supports social issues centered on mainstream America. Immigrating from India in her early 20s, she now hosts, produces, and directs Faces of South Asia, a television program on Access Television in Quincy, Massachusetts, with a focus on human trafficking, child marriage, domestic violence, opioid abuse, gender equality, LGBTQ and LGBTQ senior issues, postpartum depression and mental health, educating men regarding abuse towards women and preteen and teen violence and issues regarding rape and recovery. She will speak on political empowerment of women.
Good evening, Consul General, Mr. Sandeep Chakrabarty, Mrs. Taruna Chakrabarty, the Consulate of New York, and my respected dear friends. I thank you for the opportunity to celebrate and echo the voice of every woman across the globe on this day, 2018, the International Women's Empowerment Day. As we stride forward in our journey to achieve empowerment, I learned the meaning and importance of the word empowerment. Through my life's experiences, starting my journey from Jamshedpur, India, to Long Island, New York, and settling in Massachusetts, I learned to assimilate to global cultures and mainstream America while preserving the values of my birth country. As I evolved in my personal, professional, social, and cultural life, I realized the challenges, but successfully overcame them as I pressed forward in my journey. I learned to understand women's rights, and that was the doorway to power. Political empowerment for me became a necessity, as it was the tool to advocate on behalf of every woman globally. Through my experience on the board of Mass Women's Political Caucus and the PAC, which is the Political Action Committee, learned that only 26% of seats in the United States are held by women. No state in the United States is even close to equal representation. Overall, only about a quarter of elected positions in the United States are held by women. I noticed women of Indian origin have progressed and leaped forward successfully in every field of life in India and globally. Yet, women of Indian origin have not taken the same initiative when it came to running for office or political action committee or political caucuses.
We have with us Chandrika Tandon ji. She is a recognized leader in the worlds of business, education, the arts, and is dedicated to public service. She is a business leader, Grammy-nominated artist, and humanitarian. Chandrika Tandon creates music that combines East and the West, ancient and contemporary, classical and popular. Chandrika ji's commitment to initiatives such as sustainability, education, women's economic power, and the arts, all of the proceeds of her music goes to charitable organizations.
Next, she's on the board of NYU, Lincoln Center, chair of the board of the engineering school, and has her own company. And this is besides her love for music. So please give it up for none other than Chandrika Tandon.
By the way, thank you for talking about the engineering school, talking of Women's Day in the NYU Tandon School of Engineering. We have an entering class of 41% women in STEM. And somewhere between 40 and 46% of the class are first generation and first in their family to go to college and coming to an engineering school. And many, and again, about that same percentage are Pell Grant eligible, and the school size is about 5,200 students. So we're having a big impact on women and people and students in America, but this is something I'm particularly proud of. Have you ever stood up and tried to talk and the words didn't come? Have you ever tried to sing and then you felt you just weren't good enough to sing? Guys, if you don't do this, if you guys don't have that, don't nod. If you do that, nod or put up your hands or say something. Have you ever sat in a room with a lot of great ideas, but then you're just too afraid to talk because you think maybe your ideas are not good enough? Have you ever thought you were going to write something because you had all this creativity locked up inside you? You wrote when you were a child. You had stories to tell. But then you don't think it's going to be interesting enough for someone to read, so you procrastinate the hell out of this idea. Yes? Yes. I could say yes to every one of these. I've sat in rooms, I got here, I mean, I'm not going to go into my whole history, you know. I'm 63 years old, there's a lot I've done. I've had a flavorful life of all different flavors. So, but I've been through every one of these situations, and more, and more. But at some point, about 15 or 17 years ago, I did not want to feel this fear. I did not want to feel afraid. I did not want to feel that I was not good enough. And I've thought a lot about, and I went through a whole exploration of myself. And I thought about today, and you know, we talk of women's empowerment. Yes, I'm going to come to entrepreneurship at some point. I did form a company in 2 and 3, and I did a few things. But there's something so fundamental that we have to get. We cannot talk about women's empowerment unless we understand what is that power inside us. And by the way, this goes for women and it goes for a lot of men. I work with a great number of CEOs. I'm vice chairman of the board of New York University. I'm on the board of Lincoln Center. I work with men all the time, but women are just men multiplied in terms of the complexity.
Standing with Chandrika ji is a special privilege. And when you hear her on International Women's Day, it is empowering not only for women but for men also. And your core message was you made people recite with you those 3 lines. I want to begin with them. What were those lines?
I had everybody recite, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsthita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Goddess, where you're everywhere in the form of power, I bow to you again and again and again.
And you also said, say, I am perfection.
Well, that's the message I want everybody to walk away with, because I think we as women and really as human beings have a dialogue playing in our heads about we are afraid, we are fearful, we don't think we're good enough, we think we beat ourselves up, we beat other people up. So if we can develop a prism of the world, which is very hard to do, and of ourselves, which says, I am perfection, you are perfection, we are all perfection. That is what our Vedic heritage says, Aham Brahmasmi. And that's really my message. Now, mind you, it's very, very difficult to find that and to reach that and stay in that state. But that is the quest.
You know, you took care of my concern or question. It is really difficult. Not only difficult, many people know it intellectually. They may repeat it, but to practice it, and the way you, if I share my perception, have managed to practice it in terms of embracing abundance and also staying in tune to your the core of your being, how that journey can be conveyed to someone so that they can also follow on that path.
See, for each one, there is a practice. And this, it's a little bit like, this is like trying to play a triathlon of the mind, where you are in a space of perfection and you stay in a space of complete bliss. So you have to let go to let in. But letting go doesn't happen because as human beings we're so conditioned. For me, meditation and music were my 2 twin ways that they came together. Because the wonderful thing about very deep Indian music is finding the perfection of the sur is a form of meditation. And then I married that with a lot of meditation, including Vipassana and a lot of other things. But Ashok Bhai, this is such a complicated process. It every day, is 5 steps forward, 3 steps back. Some days, if you're lucky, it's 4 steps forward and you stay forward. Many days, it's 5 steps forward and 20 steps back. And you wonder, my God, what did I ever do? But the wonderful thing that does happen is that your perspective slowly starts to shift. So now when you're not in that place of love, light, laughter, you can understand that you're not in that place. You can understand that there is that other place. Before, I didn't know that. I only knew the state I was in. So little by little, your perspective changes, and that's what you hope for. That's why it's a lifetime. That's why they call it a practice. If it was instant, they would have sold pills for it.
Chandrika, I appreciate you sharing this and looking at the time constraint that we have at the moment, and we always try to go beyond limitations. One thing which you have been very honest in sharing, that sometimes it's 5 steps forward, 10 steps backward. In that case, if it happens with 2-3 times, people start thinking that, oh, it is not possible for me. But you don't give up. I would say that. So to be able to sustain that motivation, that inner conviction, and try again and try again. So how that has been a part of your pattern of behavior or your system, and in what way it can be inculcated? Is it something which you get it by birth or can be developed?
I certainly didn't have it at my birth. You know, it's like tasting this amazing dessert, like the sweet that is so unbelievably ecstatic. Now, you can't always have it. But once you've tasted it, you are then doing all of these practices to get to that sweet. So you know you can reach it. You don't reach it all the time. You don't get it all the time. So then the practice starts to simply become something you do to feel that high. It's like the runner's high. The runners run because after a while they want to win a medal, or they want the high of the endorphins. What I'm talking about is that high of that ecstasy, where when you're in that space of utter bliss, when you've dissolved into the light, when you are in touch with Aham Brahmasmi, that universal spirit. There is no state like that. There is no happiness like that. So you can't stay there all the time. I definitely can't stay there. But a glimpse of it is enough to change your entire perspective.
And the smile with which Chandrika ji has shared this, probably that glimpse also would help us in changing ourselves in a way which helps us in staying connected to, if not ecstasy, to that optimum level of happiness which we all aspire for. And she has demonstrated through her life that spirituality doesn't mean that you do away with wealth or you just go out in jungle. Be in action and in the pursuit of your goals on day-to-day basis, and yet you can cherish and relish this. Lots and lots of thanks for.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The conversations are more convoluted. We are conditioned to feel low self-esteem for some reason. We have reservoirs of compassion and then we turn it against ourselves. Isn't that ridiculous? But we do it very well. I did it very well. So I thought to myself, what is the single, I've got 3 more minutes to talk. And I said, what is the single message I would like to leave with you? What is the single message? And by the way, you may not relate to it the same way I did, and I do now. But if somebody had told me this 15 years ago, I would have said, yeah, right. That all sounds very mumbo-jumbo. But I kind of have to tell you this. The single message I would leave with you is, for me, what I learned for myself, I am perfection. I am perfection. You are perfection. We all are perfection. I would just like you to repeat after me. I am perfection. I am perfection. You are perfection. You are perfection. We all are perfection. You know, our Indian scriptures, the Vedic scriptures, said, Aham Brahmasmi. I am part of that perfection. I am abundance. Purnamadha, Purnamidham, Purnat, Purnamutachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadhaya, Purnameva Vashishyate. I am abundance. From fullness, fullness flourishes. It's fullness everywhere. We just forget it. We just have to get to a place, and we cannot. And by the way, talking of I am perfection doesn't mean you suddenly get onto a mountaintop and say, oh, there I am, Miss Perfect Being. It is not an arrogant statement. It is a prism with which you view yourself. You eliminate the conversations of the exchange that you have before you get up to do anything, because you're talking to yourself and having these endless, irrelevant, unimportant conversations. Can you stop doing that overnight? No. It takes years. And even now, I have 4 steps forward and sometimes 5 steps back, but hopefully going forward all the time. This is important. It doesn't matter what you do. Whether it's an entrepreneur, CEOs. I mean, if I had known many of these lessons when I started my company, 30 years ago, actually, when I was a partner in McKinsey, and then I put all my life savings into forming a company. I had 12 months of savings, 12 months to run, and the 11th month is when the first business came. I died almost because I would have been a pauper. But if I had known a lot of this then, I would have run my life very differently. I would have treated people very differently. I would have had compassion with myself. So it's not that you start doing different things. You just start to do the same things in a very different way. And you need that framework. There's a reason why in Harvard and Yale and everywhere else, courses on gratitude, courses on happiness are all the #1 courses. If we don't look at this, particularly as women, whatever age we're in, and I would say this young, old, no one is old, but young and middle-aged, we will never reach our potential. There's a lot more we can talk about, but that to me is the greatest gift I can give my sisterhood and the little the women elements of my male brotherhood as well. But what happens is when you're able to see this perfection in yourself, you then radiate love. You radiate, and then at some point, even peace is not enough. You really want blessings for all, because if I see you as perfection, you're just a better mother, you're a better wife, you're a better friend, you're a better everything, you're a better citizen of the world. And that's what we have to be, because we can change the world one step at a time. Before we go out into crusades, we have to be harmonious within ourselves. So I want to salute each and every one of you, and my prayer is that we are able to find this path. That would be, if I could ask the universe for one gift for everybody in this room, it would be that we would come to that realization at the deepest level. And I also would like to, at this moment, salute the great goddess energy. I mean, they talk of the feminine energy, and I would just love it if you would all repeat after me. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, Shakti Rupena Samstita, Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namaha. Namastasyai, Namastasyai, Namastasyai Namo Namaha. I salute the feminine energy everywhere, in the form of love, in the form of peace, in the form of compassion, in the form of wisdom. Thank you all so very much.
So I've just warmed it up a little bit. We need that at the moment in New York.
I'm standing with Daisy, right?
You got it.
So Daisy has a wonderful smile, and not only she smiles so beautifully, she plays music and helps people connect with their inner beauty in a way which is amazing. Where did you get this magic from?
You know, it really is a life journey. So I had a kind of talent. I mean, I remember playing when I was 10 or 11 years old and people crying. So I did have that talent. But like so many things in life, as a child, we have something and then we have to go through that moment of total fear. I couldn't even get on stage. I was so nervous for many years, teenage years. And then I've been working on myself. I've been working on coming to the things.
And your work is working.
Yeah! Coming to the stillness, understanding our inner perfection, all the things great women have talked about tonight. The same in all of us is connecting to our soul. We all have infinite power.
Wonderful. Happy International Women's Day to you. Such a pleasure listening to our music here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. What a great time I've had.
Because the next piece I wrote, and it is called Prayer. And I'd like to just give a prayer to all the ladies around the world right now who are not in this incredible privileged position that we are to be here tonight. This is a prayer for them. So would you like to take away the next track? Oh, they're doing things over there. Awesome. Thank you. That's better, I think.
Oh
She is an Indian scholar, literary theorist, and feminist critic. She is a university professor at Columbia University, where she is a founding member of the Institute of Comparative Literature and Society. Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak was awarded the 2012 Kyoto Prize in Arts and Philosophy for being a critical theorist and educator speaking for the humanities against intellectual colonialism in relation to the globalized world. In 2013, she received the Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award given by the Republic of India. She will talk on the enduring topic of feminism forever.
Feminism. Feminism has always meant for me to work for a world where gender difference is accepted and gender equality is not confused with sameness. The nature of the work is different depending on the circumstances. As you would say by old Indian wisdom, kshetre karma vidhyate. The circumstances. By the way, I should also say that the one that I work by is Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Bhranti Rupena Samsthita. That's the one that we have to remember. Not just all the good things, but the possibility of learning from mistakes. Why did they include that? Smart people. The nature of the work of feminism, then, is different depending on the circumstances. Success for the work of feminism is impossible. It goes on forever. That's my title. Feminism Forever. Because the feminism is not only forever because of race and class difference, the difference in the world's wealth of languages added to the task of gender difference, but also, and I'm very glad that you mentioned something about generations, but also because this work has to be taken up anew for each generation. For gendering is our first instrument of creating a society, in terms of a plus and a minus, these being the baseline ingredients for putting together any kind of system of meanings. Artificial intelligence folks know this. You need a plus and a minus. And customarily, the plus is having a phallus, and the minus is not having it. The Purushanga Pradhan ideas.
FIA President Srijul Parekh, you managed to get so many powerful women under one roof today. How was your experience?
It was very heating moments, so powerful speakers, so powerful attendees, and I cannot ask more than that. This is something I dream of a few months ago when I started this initiative of Women's Empowerment. I remember talking to you in your studio as well, and this is something I really want to pursue that, throughout my year of presidency at FIA. We are working on women's awareness, we are working with Robert Wood Johnson partnership, and we will be doing the seminar to the breast cancer awareness and stuff. So more to come, and I would like to all the viewers of ITV to come join us on all the event, and absolutely signature event, 19th of August, India Day Parade. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, and just quick note about Srijul, he makes me realize again that when you work with passion, things happen. Things happen beyond your imagination. And I heard when you were mentioning about today's event and the way I saw it, it makes me feel so good, as well as inspires me to do better than what I have been doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sukji. Thank you.